I'm Yvonne Dixon, one of the wedding editors. This is the podcast where we talk about weddings honestly. The beautiful bits, the stressful bits, the things no one tells you, and the decisions that can save you time, money, and quite possibly your sanity. Let me paint you a picture. It's 3 a.m, you're wide awake, you've just remembered something you meant to check with your florist weeks ago. You grab your phone, you fire off an email and you wait. Nothing, obviously. So the next morning you chase your venue about a detail you were certain you'd agreed on. They come back to you and say politely and professionally that wasn't included in your package. Suddenly you're staring at an unexpected cost you didn't budget for, a supplier who isn't responding as fast as you'd like, and a growing sense that the wedding you planned in your head and the wedding that's actually being built are two very different things. This is one of the most common moments I see couples hit during weddings planning. And today I want to make sure it doesn't happen to you. Here's the first thing most couples don't realise, and honestly, it is a bit of a mic drop moment. You will probably not be your venue's only wedding that day. So remember, your suppliers are talented, experienced professionals, but they're also running businesses. They are juggling multiple clients, multiple events, and a mountain of emails. When they don't respond immediately, it isn't a lack of care, it's capacity. So the couples who get the best from their suppliers are the ones who are clear, they're organised, and they're respectful. And I can promise you this, vendors do go over and above for clients that they have that are like that. So now let's talk about money, because this is where things get genuinely confusing. When you book a supplier, you often feel like you're paying for a finished product. So a beautiful tablescape, a floral installation, a set of photographs. But what you're actually paying for is so much more than that. You're paying for the consultations, the emails, the revisions to the plan, the planning meetings, the problem solving that happens before you even arrive at the venue. A good supplier is fixing issues before they ever reach you. And that's what you're investing in. It's called your peace of mind. And cheaper almost always means one of three things. It may mean less experience, less support, or more stress for you later. So when you're looking to choose your suppliers, base on experience and expertise, not just the cost. Then you've also got the hidden cost trap. What you see on Instagram or Pinterest is style stage and often shot over multiple days. Your wedding is live. It's one day, one chance, and it's real logistics. So that dreamy tablescape you fell in love with online, it probably took about 6 hours and a full team to create. On your wedding day, you may have 90 minutes to turn a room from your wedding breakfast to your evening reception. So when a supplier says to you that might not be possible, they're not being difficult. They're being honest, and honesty is what's going to create a beautiful wedding for you. And then there are contracts, my favourite subject. Most couples don't read them properly, and this is where things can really unravel. Your contracts contain the crucial information. It's got in there the cancellation policies, overtime fees, what happens if something goes wrong, and critically, exactly what's included and what's not. So couples assume something is included, the vendor assumes it isn't. Suddenly, you could have unexpected costs appearing out of nowhere. Never mind the friction that comes along with misunderstandings. Finally, timelines. If you get this right, your wedding will flow. And if you don't, it falls apart. Harsh, but true. Timings are not suggestions. They are what allows every supplier to do their job properly. So if your ceremony runs late, your photographer could lose daylight. Your caterers get delayed. Your evening guests are kept waiting, things that you don't want to happen. And once a wedding starts running behind, it's very, very difficult to pull it back. So everything on your wedding day takes longer than you think. So even getting into your dress, the group photos, getting your people together to have the right photographs, guests finding their seats, even confetti can take 20 minutes when you're organising a crowd. So how, do you protect yourself from all of this? First, you be an organised, respectful client. Respond promptly and be clear about what you want. Exercise patience when suppliers are juggling multiple events. As I say, the couples who treat their vendors genuinely receive more in return. Second, Read your contracts, every single one. If something matters to you, get it written into the contract. Don't rely on, I'm sure it'll be fine, or we talked about it on the phone. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist when it matters most. Third, understand what you're actually paying for. You're not just paying for the thing you can see. You're paying for the expertise, the time, the planning, and the peace of mind that comes with hiring someone who knows what they're doing. And fourth, build a realistic timeline from the very beginning. A realistic timeline is worth far more than an over-ambitious one. A good planner will always build in buffer time, because buffer time is what protects your day. At the Wedding Editors, this is exactly what we help couples navigate. We help you understand what you're really paying for. We ask the right questions and point you in the right direction, and we can spot the hidden gaps before they become problems. No surprises except the good ones. So before we go, here are today's 3 wedits. Wedit number 1. Your vendors do care, but they are running businesses. Respect the time, set expectations early, and communication will be so much smoother. Wedit number 2. You're not paying for things, you're paying for a service. Expertise, peace of mind. The magic you see comes from hours and years of unseen work. And wedit number 3. If it's not written down, it doesn't exist. Contracts protect both sides, and clarity avoids stress later. And now, a little celebrity confidential. Obviously, I never name names, but I can tell you this. I once worked on a very high-profile wedding where the couple had a supplier, a significant one, who had not been entirely transparent about what was and wasn't included in their fee. So on the morning of the wedding, a conversation happened that should have happened 6 months prior. The couple were gracious and the supplier did deliver beautifully, but the stress of that conversation on the morning of their wedding day was entirely avoidable. One sentence in the contract would have prevented it, and it's a reminder for you. Get it in writing every single time. So if this episode saved you from at least one future wedding headache, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. I'll bring the reality check and you bring the vision. Together, we'll meet somewhere sensible in the middle. In our next episode, we're going to get personal because we're talking about the emotional side of wedding planning. So that would include family opinions, unsolicited advice, and why your wedding suddenly becomes everyone else's business. Trust me, you will want to hear this one.